Hello and welcome, everyone, to Grace Westminster Friday live stream. It's Friday. It's 2:15 p.m. UK time. It's Constant here, the usual. Tell me, how is the sound? How is the video quality in the comments and live chat? If it's your first time here, we talk Nikon and photography every Friday at 2:15 right here. And I want to know from you. So if you're watching it live, definitely join our live chat. Go there, ask some questions, put QQQ right in front of the questions, and let me know where you're watching me from, which part of the world. And if you're watching it after the fact, then ask me the questions in the comments under this video, and also let me know where you're watching from. It's all greatly appreciated. My name is Konstantin. I'm sure you know me, and I want to say hello to Joe, John, David, Ray, Craig, Saul, Paul, David, Colin, Nick. Everyone is here. Terry, Seth, and Ray. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. First of all, I want to say thank you, everyone who is emailing us about Nikon Report podcast and asking if we're going to see another issue anytime soon. Well, I can tell you that highly unlikely we'll be continuing Nikon Report podcast, unfortunately. It's just due to our time commitments. Unfortunately, I don't have Becky available all the time. So, and we kind of engage with other things. But if something interesting comes up, we may have an occasional Nikon Report podcast for you whenever it's ready. But it's just, it takes a lot of time for us to create. It takes normally 2 days out of our schedule, which is quite a lot because we want to make sure that we are ready to talk about things and discuss things and prepare it in a give you that package that you got used to Nikon Report. But another thing I want to mention is, so John Hughes emailed me, thank you, and he mentioned there were some issues with the live stream and the live chat last week, so some people weren't able either to see their comments or weren't able to see their live chat. So his solution to that was to use Chrome browser instead of Safari. So if you're on Chrome, definitely try different browsers, see if you can see the live chat. So, but I can see John Hughes is in the chat. Thank you, John. I hope you can see your comments as well. Let's start with your questions. Coffee Fund is open, and I'm going to have a coffee with you as well. So whichever part of the world you are, I'm sure there's a good time for coffee. All right, so John Hughes is asking a question for video and fireworks with Z9 24-72.8 and the best settings. So do we have videographers in the chat? Do let us know in the comments below. But generally, your frame rate will dictate your shutter speed overall. I don't think you need super fast shutter speed on this one. I'm pretty sure you can get away potentially as 30 seconds of it. If you're shooting at 60 frames or something like this, then you can record 30ths of a second or 1/25th of a second, yada, yada, yada. But yeah, I guess wide open if you want to get as much light, bump up that. So the same applies to regular stills photography shooting. David Moscoro is off to Alaska. Thank you very much. Enjoy your trip. He's taking 850, actually D850 along with Nikon ZF and 2080 Ti. Well, hope you enjoy it. Are you going some fishing? Are you doing something nice in there? Some hiking? I never been to Alaska. Maybe one day I'll make it there. Let's go to more questions. Paul P is mentioning that there were Z lens firmware updates recently released. Here we go. We have Nikon Report live right now. So those basically to do with the way you focus the lens. So the basic setup is non-linear. Now you will be able to set it to linear option as well. Non-linear means that if you move your focusing ring slowly, it will change the focusing distance, the lens slower. If you move your focusing ring faster, it will change the focusing distance faster. The old-fashioned way is literally depends on how much you turn, that's the distance, how much is going to change. So that's what you will be able to set up. So if you got used to use manual focus lens and you want a similar performance on your Z mount or focus lenses, which are effectively focused by wire, if you think about it, then you will be able to apply that. So previously we had the similar firmware update for lenses like 70-100, 80-400, 100-400, and all that. But now we're seeing some prime lens like 28, 26, and 40mm being updated as well. Looking at the news, actually, since kind of Nikon Z6 III released, we actually haven't seen any news, isn't it? And the only rumor that recently came up, I've just literally been browsing Nikon rumors before that. So, and it seems like the only thing that came up is the 28-135 cine lens there were some images showing up online that Nikon effectively, it implies that Nikon will release new lenses anytime soon. I want to know from you, while I'm asking you, well, I'm answering your questions. I want to know from you, what do you think Nikon will release in the next 3 months? So before the end of the year, not what we want Nikon to release or what Nikon needs to make, for us because we think so and it's important. So not Z500 thing, but what do you think actually will happen? Do let me know in the comments below. So I want to know because I'm just thinking, okay, we have 35 1.2. Will Nikon release cine lenses this year, or will we have a big cine year next year? Who knows? Will we see any camera update? Will we see any DX camera update specifically? Will we see Z7 Mark III? Do let me know in the comments below, but do ask me some photographic questions. And if I'm able to answer them, I will. I'm not an encyclopedia, but hopefully I will be able to answer most of them. So Seth is building new PC. Okay, so what are the current specs? Tell me, Seth, because I guess you don't want to have Intel processor with all the news that just came out. I guess you're going with AMD, but me looking at the kind of recent releases from AMD and Intel, all those processors are quite underwhelming. I'm still on my AMD 5900X, I think. That's the one I have. Built my PC about 3 years ago. I actually filmed a video of me building the PC for our YouTube channel, and the video was canned because I was told that no one is going to be interested in me talking how to build a PC for photographers. You see what I mean? So that's that. So but I normally tend to read about the PCs when it's time for me to build one. So then I go and I was like, oh, is it DDR4 still, or is it DDR5? So how much RAM do I need to get, and what motherboard and all this. But I do love to build my PCs every, let's say, 3 to 5 years. So I think I'm not due to one, but maybe next year as well. So but I want to hear from you. Jacob B says, hey Con, sound is working fine, awesome. And the internet connection is fine. Yeah, I told to guys not to download anything dodgy on their computers. So, especially office computers. So they told me, okay. So hopefully that was the connection thing. So hopefully we're not going to be buffering, but obviously if we are buffering, do let me know in the comments below. Good morning from Washington. Thank you, Jay Blue. Good morning to you. John Hughes is from North Yorkshire. Jacob is asking me, where did I go hiking in Slovakia, if you don't mind me asking. I went to this place called High Tatras. It's Tatra Mountains, and they have low Tatras and high Tatras. And high Tatras are normally, one part of High Tatras is in Slovakia, and another part is in Poland. So you can actually cross the border on the mountain, in the mountains as well. So it's a very beautiful place. In summer, it's perfect for hiking. Generally, well, it gets quite hot in there, about 35 degrees, but actually we were lucky. So actually our temperature was about 20, 25, and it was cloudy for most of the day. So we weren't sweating too much. And in winter, it's fantastic for snowboarding and skiing. If you like snow sports, which I do, I try to do them every year. That's perfect for that as well. So those long, very long slopes where you have to get a cable car, and it takes about 15 minutes by cable car to go on top of the mountain. So, I do recommend you. So if you just think that, just West Europe is the place to go for nature and stuff like this, check out Eastern Europe. Don't be afraid. It's a great place to be, and people are genuinely nice. They do look grumpy, us Eastern Europeans, but they're actually nice people once they kind of tend to know you, and also everything's a lot cheaper as well. So keep that in mind. Thank you very much, Steven Stoller. Thank you, I appreciate it. And thank you very much, Jay Blue as well. More coffee for Con. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Let me see if I didn't miss anyone. Gary Morrison. Thank you very much, Gary. To keep coffee topped up. It's freezing here today. Which part of the world are you in, Gary? Tell me. We are here. It's about 20 degrees. It's all right. It's manageable. So not a jumper weather. Still, wearing my shirt, but it's kind of like on and off. Sometimes it's cold, sometimes it's hot. I heard that in UK it's going to be quite hot next week. So maybe the last days of summer. We have bank holiday weekend coming up. I am looking forward to it. I've got a bunch of things planned. I'm going to go to Crystal Palace home game tomorrow. So that's for me, start of EPL season, Premier League. And then we're going to do some traveling as well, somewhere locally, seaside, somewhere around East Coast. So that's for me. Tell me, if you are based in UK, what's your plans for this long bank holiday weekend? And speaking of bank holiday weekends, there are a couple of things here. First of all, again, if you're in England and you want some Nikon secondhand gear, we're running 10% off this bank holiday, up to 150 off anything secondhand. If you buy a digital camera 6 SD card, you will get 32 gigabyte free SD card thrown in. If you buy a film camera, you'll get a free roll of Kodak Color Plus. That's all that. Also in UK, and I think it's in Europe as well, Nikon started today another big promotion, instant save promotion. So there's discounts of cameras like Z8, Z9, the 850s. They're instant discounts, so there's no rebate or anything like this. You just get discounts straight away. And there's 10% of bunch of lenses as well. It's a huge list. So again, if you miss the summer savings promotion, then it's the right time. So you didn't have to wait for long. So normally there's summer and there's winter, but now they having this promotion as well. So that's all running in UK. I'm pretty sure it's in Europe as well. If United States, these may be similar thing there as well. So back to your questions. Let me see. I don't want to miss anything, but I'm just going to quickly scroll all the way to the bottom. So the sound is still good. That's good news. So let's see if I missed any questions. Okay. Hello, hello, everyone. Greetings from Malta. Hello, Andre. Good to see you. Jelta is from Netherlands. Fantastic. New York is here. Quebec is here. Craig Miller is asking, 35 1.2, has it been scrapped? That's a good question. That's a good question. From what I know, and this is from what I know, that there was a prototype. So from what I know, it was there and then it disappeared. That's what I know. I haven't seen it. It wasn't, released to retailers, but apparently there was a prototype. That's just, what, I've kind of hear through the industry chat, and then it disappeared. So no one knows what's going on. Obviously, I don't have the latest news. That's information I had about a couple months ago. But I wonder what's the holdup. So from what I understood, 3514 is not the 3512. Remember when we had 24 to 105 f4, I think, and then it became 24 to 120 f4, which we now have, and it's a fantastic and beautiful lens. So I don't think the 35 1.4 is what 35 1.2 became. So it seems that maybe something happened during the production. Maybe the performance wasn't as they expected to be. So it went back to the drawing board, and who knows, maybe you'll see one. But that's kind of one of the things of kind of, where you can shoot yourself in the foot. We as a consumer, we want to have a lens roadmap or product roadmap, but there's a reason why the manufacturers don't want to share this information, because if something happens, then we start to ask questions and we start to speculate. And the kind of the way we think is, oh, something went wrong there, that's why it's not released. Maybe not. Maybe they just, maybe they thought they're going to release it in that time frame and it didn't happen because maybe it requires something else. Like back in the day, F-mount 14 to 24, that front element, the front curved element, they released the lens and that was sold out for about 8 months or so. And we were told that that front element apparently takes quite a lot of time to cure. So once they produced it, so apparently that was a delay. Would they release the lens knowing that information, or they would know how many they will sell? Maybe they will delay the release. Who knows? So that's the thing. But I personally don't think, Craig, that's scrapped. I think it will come, but I don't think we'll have to put a time frame on it at this stage. So that's the thing. And I think kind of that's one of the reasons where, maybe manufacturers don't want to share that information ahead of time. All right, let's see more questions. Okay, so on the browsers, and so Sess is saying, if you use Brave as browser because you're smart, it can treat live chats like pop-ups and take up to 5 minutes to load. Sometimes just be patient. Okay, never use Brave chat. Okay, maybe I'll find out what's that. Tech hard to create adapter for Voigtlander manual lenses for Nikon Z. Okay, well, technically you can buy M mounts, Leica mounts, Voigtlander lenses, and then use the autofocus M mount to Z mount adapter from TechHard. So that could be an option. One of those. Let's see. Jelta Van Geest is asking, what is the best adapter set for seeing the Green Fox confirmation box? The manual lens is not cheap. The options sometimes change to infinity. I like to zone Fox as well. Good question. I don't have the answer for that. There would be third-party manufacturers. All those things, the problem with them is it can work with one firmware and then it may have issue with some other firmware. Speaking of different gizmos, like if you notice, every live stream I'm trying to show you some interesting things that that I found in the shop, or let's say something that landed on our desk and we playing with. So this bit in the middle is the bellows, Novoflex bellows that will allow you to put any Z Nikon lenses on that adapter, and it will pass all the information, EXIF data. It will stop down the aperture, and it's actually autofocusing as well. Well, you won't need autofocusing for macro, but this is what you can do. For lenses like 105Z lens, which is this one, which is mounted on this bellows right now, you can get more than one-to-one reproduction. So you out of the box, you get one-to-one with the 105mm lens. And with this adapter, you can do more. Apparently, with these bellows, you can also buy additional motor, and you can connect it to this bellows. So then the motor will drive the lens. So if you like to have some sort of stacking and things like this, you can try to do things like this. So, but those are the fun things we're going to play with. It is highly likely that Grazo Smith will start to stock those as well. But we're going to do some reviews. I'm going to ship it off to Becky, really, since she's our macro specialist. And yeah, so hopefully she'll write an article or so. But I played with it in the shop. Guys looked at it in the shop as well. And they seem to enjoy that. All right. Clicks, video says doesn't want an Intel processor. I agree. So AMD 7950X Pro RX 670 board, 480 NVIDIA card, pretty good. I'm still on my 3080 since COVID days. I bought it before the spike where everyone was mining everything. So I managed to get mine at actually a reasonable price back in the day. So still on that. You could play Cyberpunk, that's all you need really, So, but obviously it can do any photography related or video related things. If you throw at it, 480 is a fantastic card. I agree with you. So J Blue is saying, I don't think there will be a Z7 Mark III. I think the new cameras will be Z50 and Z5 replacements. What do you think on? What do I think, J Blue? Good question. I think we desperately need Z50 Mark II because Z50 has been out of date for quite some time. I think we need to bring it up to speed with everything. You can't even charge the thing. Like you can charge the battery in camera with ZFC. You can't do it with Z50. Here you go. So, we need to bring it up to date. I personally think that the most important thing we need to have is vibration reduction on the sensor, which will be a first for Nikon in DX. We all know that Fujifilm already has it. So, but we want to have it on our Nikon DX camera. So I personally think that form factor of Z50 is fantastic because it's a tiny, small camera and it's great for that. But we definitely need to bring it up to speed. Obviously, I would love to have a I don't even care if it's a new high resolution sensor. I just want a new sensor because Z50 is rocking a sensor from D500. And it's not like it's a bad sensor. It's a good sensor, but it's been out for a while, if you see what I mean. So that's what I think needs to happen. Obviously, people want Z500 or Z90, whatever you call it. Will Nikon release one? If they release this year, I will be pleasantly surprised and I will be happy. I don't think that will happen personally. So that's my thing. I don't think Z5 is happening this year. I don't think it's their market. So, but who knows? That's the thing. Again, I don't, it's one of the things that technically Z5 will be effectively Z6 Mark II at a cheaper price, if you see what I mean. Z5 is still a fantastic, underrated camera from Nikon, in my opinion, as well. Give this stream, the usual, yeah. You know where to press. Don't be lazy, yeah. It helps. It helps, and, it makes my face blush because I see that you like this stream. It's really, really appreciated. So yeah, don't be lazy. Raise your thumb, click that like or dislike button. Who cares? As long as it's there, more people will see this stream. It's very simple, actually. It's just the way it works. All right, let's see. The chart has been actually, it's going, so I'm kind of halfway through that. So I'm gonna try to see if there's anything else is here. So there's discussion about the right adapter for the autofocus confirmation. That's good. Um, so yeah, who else is building PC? So I'm building my PCs normally. Seth is building his own PCs. But Seth, I think you built one about 2 years ago. How often do you build them? Let me know in the comments. So, but who else is building? Or you just buy a MacBook and be done with it. So I like my MacBooks in laptop form. Yeah. So the MacBook, I don't really buy the Mac stations, if you see what I mean. I like to tinker with my PC things. Don't really use Windows enough. It's to bother, like, to be upset about it. It's enough to launch my Lightroom, let's say, my applications, whatever I use. Got a Steam installed there. I can play all the games. Much better gaming on PC than Mac, So but yeah, some photography applications are Mac only, which is annoying. But I have my MacBook for that. All right. The Z6 III is getting slayed, says ZJ. I think this is terrible for Nikon. They're going to go back and decline. I think, ZJ, you're wrong. And yeah, you're wrong. It's as simple as that. People who use Z6 IIIs are raving about it. If you look at people who deliberately shoot videos to bash the brands, and if your whole channel policy is to bash anything, and that's what you're making views on, that's on you. That's very important. So it's a lot harder to create a content without bashing anyone. Just think about that. It's very important. I don't like the way the internet is going. I don't watch those channels. I choose not to. As we always say, vote with your wallet, buy what you like, support people you like. I do not support people whose idea is either to bash a brand, a camera, or a person. If the whole thing is the beef, that's a no for me. I have respect for people. I don't like that. Okay, so Lee Floyd says, hi, do you know when the next Z9 phone is coming? Unfortunately, I don't have that data. I assume we probably will see some firmware update by the end of the year, but who knows? We haven't seen one in a while, isn't it? So why not? And Nikon's done really well with Z9 firmware updates. We are on what, version 4, version 5 now? That's pretty good. Seda says that 6.3 is awesome. I've been beating the hell out of it. It's been great. Image has been great. The raw video has been great for me. People just like slamming Nikon when they're bored for clicks. Exactly. That's the thing. If you watch these channels, again, it's entirely up to you. It's I don't know. I just find it childish. That's my opinion about this. So, if you see what we're doing with this channel, we're trying, to share our opinion without bashing anyone. And I think this is very important. It's just called respect, and as Ali G said, respect as well. So, Pompey says, "Hi, thank you for your time. What do you say about 58 1.4G? It's an amazing lens. I've been saying it over and over again." It's a lens with a character. It's not the sharpest of them all, but it has a beautiful rendering. So if you like your character lenses, then 51.8 is the one. Moshi Moshi, David Drunk Wedding Photographer says, hello. I was watching yesterday video about economics of a taco truck. And it reminded me of our time in LA. So next time in LA, we should do another taco truck journey, really. Along the West LA, East LA. I'm looking forward to it. I really enjoyed it. Thank you, David, for your hospitality. Hello, John from Connecticut. Hello. So Craig wants me to ask Richie if there's any more information. Well, the thing about this is some information, unfortunately, we can't share. So that's the thing. With all those things, even let's say things that we may know, we may not say, or even the things we know don't come out to be true at the end as well. So that's the thing. So everyone is under NDA, if you see what I mean. So that's the thing. So if people know, then, it's highly unlikely they will tell you what it is way in advance. That's the thing. Let's say Z6 III has been rumored to come out in September last year, right? So it's been a while, and it finally came out. So that's the thing. And if they would know, like what I know, that has been delayed several times, would Nikon tell me this? No, that's the thing. So all this is kind of hearsay, and all this information, like some information we can provide, some information we can't, some information we simply don't know. That's the thing. As simple as that. Again, MacBook versus PC. It's everything's better on Mac, according to Seth. Yeah, I mean, I like my MacBooks. And he's building PCs every 3 years. It's a base setup for video editing, streaming, and MacBook Pro, everything. Yeah, I'm actually like, I have an M1 Pro MacBook, and it's good enough to edit 4K content, so that's pretty good. And the AMD my PC as well, good enough to do all those things. So that's pretty good as well. Let's see. Do you have more questions, guys? Definitely let me know in the comments. The J wants a Z7 Mark III to be released. That would be a good one. Yeah, as we had discussion on that for sure. And that's the thing. Some people say Nikon doesn't need one. I personally think that we just need to have a higher resolution, slower model, but it seems that the Nikon ethos is now to give us speed. And maybe they just don't have a higher than 45 megapixel sensor, a higher resolution sensor that can produce the same speeds. So I think that could be a hold up on this. But I would take low and slow, high resolution camera personally. I like those. It's also will give a little bit of a kind of different options for different people. I think it's more important than have all cameras that do the same thing. That's my opinion. YouTube is just full of trash, unfortunately. It is. I agree. When like people don't ask me which channels I watch, so that's the thing. But I don't watch the top photography YouTubers, the ones with the millions of subscribers, because they're not there, in my opinion, in the photography business at this point. So that's the thing. I personally watch smaller channels, the people that I think actually give that information. That's the thing. Like I don't like the all for clicks things. That's my personal nature. I see this, I just say no straight away. I don't watch. I'm not gonna even bother. That's my opinion. But everyone has different opinions, and everyone watching different channels. That's the thing. But yeah, all I need to know really personally, like if this camera interests me, I'm gonna look at the reviews of that. And let's say when we will look, like let's say it's worth, I think, for us as a Nikon channel to know what everyone is doing. So I do check out what Canon is doing, what Sony is doing, what Fuji is doing. So that I think that's important for us to have kind of more informed opinion on things. But realistically speaking, I don't like when a brand is better than another brand because and things like this. This is just wrong. But that's the thing. I don't know. I prefer journalism. Like people who actually do work. That's what it is. But it is what it is. All right. So let's see. So thank you, Con, for saying what needs to be said. Thank you, Jay Blue. Again, like me saying that some channels are trash on YouTube. I'm not trying to bash anyone. I don't want to name the names, and that's the thing. But you guys, you do your own research. You vote with your time watching those videos. That's what it is. So I don't have enough time to give them. That's the thing. I don't think I have enough time for a lot of things. So that's the thing. If I would have all the time in the world, we would produce a Nikon report every week. So that's for sure. Tom Lawrence says, I might get myself a 58 1.4 G lens for Christmas. They can be had very inexpensively nowadays, secondhand. That's the thing. A lot of people upgrading to latest and greatest. They just like to have the latest lenses. And that means that, Tom, you can have a bargain, because someone paid full price for the 58 1.8 and they will sell it and you can have a huge discount on that. So, but yeah, 58, I might end up having one as well. It's not on my top priority list, but it's definitely on the list of lenses I would like to have. It would join the lens like 28 1.4 EF mount and 105 1.4 EF mount as well, because those lenses are also superb. All right. Terry is saying, my PC have a problem with sound a couple of days now. It's very annoying. I have to see the show later. Hopefully, Terry, you'll fix that issue. Check the drivers just in case. Check all your ports. There's all sorts of things can to do. And sometimes NVIDIA drivers can't overtake. If you have a proper sound card, like PCIe sound card, then NVIDIA drivers may overtake this. But you can't hear me, Terry, because you don't have sound on your computer. So maybe if you watch later or you watch on your phone, then I would suggest you just check the drive or reinstall the drive on your memory card, on your of your sound card. Says say Nikon needs Z5 already. Get new users into the ecosystem. Here we go. So Z5 make it under $1,000, or £1,000. That would be amazing. I think Z5 now, is sitting under this, especially on sales. I personally think Z5 for full frame users, and we need an affordable DX camera for users as well. So give us Z30 maybe with a viewfinder. So make it cheap. So we'll release that 50 Mark II and make that 50 cheap. But we need the D3000 series cameras because those used to go for £299 with 18 to 55 VR lens. That's including 20% tax in the United Kingdom. Remember those days. So that is where we need to be. I know we had inflation, things like this. So we need to find that sweet spot, but we need the camera that will go to the people buying their first cameras, buying their first family cameras, photograph kids, whatever, school trips, yada, yada, yada. We need that camera because it will bring more people into the ecosystem, Nikon ecosystem. And, in a way, maybe eventually, if they like photography, they'll buy one of those and maybe a bellows and who knows, so all sorts of things. This is very, very useful, I think. So we need to hear that. And again, the common argument for that would be when Nikon says we're more up for margin, high price, high margin, but I think it needs to work both ways, if you see what I mean, because the volume of those cameras will be much higher than the volume of the cameras that we all like, the expensive stuff. And it's also those cameras will fund the research of all the expensive stuff that you and me like. Thank you very much, Vince. He says, have the latest and greatest coffee. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right, let's see your comments. Let's see. So Craig Miller says Z7 Mark III, 45 megapixel with pixel shift sped up with dual speed 7.8 processor, optimized for tribal landscape use, one button pixel shift. Craig, is it enough though? Like, I understand it's enough for you. Is it enough for the popular vote? That's the thing. Where does it need to sit price-wise between Z6 Mark III and Z8 to justify the release of such camera? I don't think it will do, I don't think they will go away with a button, they will do a whole like button layout redesign. I don't think it will be basically Z6 Mark III physical kind of camera layout and design, or either Z7 Mark II, either or. So it's not going to be like one button pixel shift, in my opinion. They may have it through the menu or function button, things like this, but I don't think it's going to be enough for a lot of people. So we need to have a, do you think pixel shift is a killer feature? That's the question. It's not a killer feature for me. That's the thing. So I think dynamic range, that's where we're at. So, I'm saying high resolution sensor because it's easy for landscape photographers who like to print. It's an easy sell, right? But maybe if we get like a massive dynamic range sensor, like, anything from 15 to 18 stops of dynamic range, if we get this, then suddenly the landscape photographer would listen, if you see what I mean. So that's the thing. Otherwise, I agree those are good options. I just don't think that's enticing enough for a lot of people. But who knows? Who knows? I mean, you guys let me know in the comments below because, maybe it's, I'm thinking different way than all of you think. So yeah, definitely let me know in the comments below. So Jay says, I don't like the speed trend with cameras these days. Give me a slow camera with great autofocus and amazing picture quality. Here we go. Yeah, that's exactly what we're talking about. Absolutely. So I think low and slow is an option. That's the thing. And then people can choose. As simple as that. Give people choice. That's the thing. I don't think it's going to be one person buying a low and slow camera. I think there's going to be quite a few people who need those features. I think speed is overrated. If you are a sports photographer, you need speed. I think speed on current cameras, Z6 III, Z8, ZF, Z9. I think autofocus speed for commercial work, not talking autofocus speed, let's say for sports and wildlife, but even then, I think if you're a wedding photographer, if you're doing events and things like this, I think your camera is good enough, in terms of autofocus speed, in my opinion, So obviously for very critical applications to focus speed like wildlife and sport photography, that's where obviously any improvement is welcome. but I think even what we get now is very, very good already. So let's see. Question by Jay Blue. When do you think the first video-centric Nikon Red camera will be available? I'm looking forward to that day. Good question. Again, if it comes out this year, I'd be personally surprised, but I think it's all. I think the next year is going to be, the year of cinema line of lenses and cameras from Nikon. That's kind of it starts with our predictions early this year. This is my prediction for next year. I think we're going to have a whole year full of announcements and releases. Con bashes my channel every day. Anytime, Seth. If you want me to bash your channel, I can record even a video, a reel, as short a story, no problem at all. But if you need me on your channel, if you want to have a chat on your channel, because I always invite you, but if you need me, you text me as well. So I always enjoy your live streams. You say it how it is. Okay, so let's see. Slower cameras just give you time to think before taking the image. Thank you, John. That's a good comment. I agree. It's just, I think obviously if we have fast cameras, if we get the slow camera, then it has to do something different from what fast cameras does, because you don't want to just get slow camera and then it doesn't actually give you advantage over fast camera. So yeah, we definitely need to get some advantages. You need to kind of think, if I go for slower camera, what is the reason I go for slow camera? Oh, it gives me this and this option. Then you're gonna be, okay, that makes sense. That's the thing. But I would go for slow cameras. I use GFX 100 as camera, and it's compared to Nikon's is very slow. Compared to Fuji's, it's all right, but compared to Nikon, it's very slow. So but it's good enough for my type of work. Mainly portraiture. So, but again, if it's a, let's say, kids running around session, I would go with Z8 any day. They're different cameras. Lucas is saying, I agree with you, Con. Cheap Z3000, but I'm afraid that people don't care about quality that much and just use the cameras on their phones. Well, I know what you mean there. That's kind of mobile phones killed point-and-shoot cameras and all this. But I can tell you that example is my brother, yeah? So he's got 2 kids. He bought D3000, I think D3300, I think. And he bought it to photograph his kids. So he had 18-55 and 35 1.8 DX lens. His camera now is like things are falling apart. He's done something over 150,000 actuations, I think. This rubber is coming off and, all sorts of things. I think battery is on the last legs. So he would be buying a new camera, and he has Nikon, so he would prefer to get a Nikon camera if he can. So I think there's going to be a lot of people who would want to have a slight upgrade over what they have. That's kind of my thinking is. And if you think about the Z3000, will cost cheaper than your iPhone. I don't know. What's iPhone nowadays? I mean, I'm on 12, yeah? I think the new iPhone 15 is about $1,000, yeah? So if you think about it, if you can buy a camera for £400 with a lens that technically will produce a better image quality, I think that's, people won't look at it as a buying a new phone thing. You see what I mean? So I think there's quite a few things to attract people, but I do agree with you. I don't think we will see the same levels of sales that we used to have before, just because mobile technology has advanced so much. I mean, there's no denying that. But I think there's still money to be made in there. And you almost look at it as a kind of entry level into the system, with the idea that if you're used to one of those cameras, maybe eventually you upgrade to a more professional model. I mean, think about yourself, guys. I mean, like you probably started with a, some camera and then upgrade to a better one and a better one and a better one. So that's the thing. So I think this is kind of a Trojan horse that Nikon should be doing. Maybe, let's say, it's not going to give them as high margins as, let's say, something like Z9 or Z8. I understand that, but I think it almost makes sense. Just as simple as that. You increase your volume, you increase your share of a photographic market. That's the thing. Because if you're going to concentrate just on your top models, you're not really becoming a Leica, but you kind of getting away from, let's say, being a brand for everyone to going into more specialized niche. Obviously, as I say, I'm not saying Nikon is Leica. There's no way. Leica is very, very specialized, but it seems like that Nikon is kind of going similar way, in that direction where we're going to release products just for that. So again, that's my opinion. And, Nikon may think something else. That's the thing. Like, we all can have different opinions about that. Uh, that's what it is. Again, I think one of the things is what's important and what came from my days is you need to support kids at schools and universities. You want to give the cameras in their hands because they'll grow up with Nikon camera, they'll buy a Nikon camera. That's another thing. So I bought F100 as my first professional film camera, my first real camera that I bought with my money. My first camera was Zenith, and I kind of stuck with Nikon, isn't it? So that's the thing. And I was young when I bought it. So, and those kind of things, they're, they're not logical, but they stay with us. They're irrational, but you have certain feelings to, let's say, your first camera and things. I'm sure everyone remembers, like what was your first camera? What was your first camera? Let me know in the comments below. But, like, there could be a reason why you kind of stuck with that brand. No, it doesn't work for everyone, but I'm sure that a lot of you who bought that brand kind of stuck with that brand. And it doesn't mean you can't use other brands. Like I have Leica camera, I have Fuji camera as well. Like it doesn't matter, but you kind of like, even now, if you tell me uh, what camera, like for me personally, is the best digital camera right now, I'd probably say Z8. Just because it does everything. Let's say GFX is a better camera for portrait work just because of the bigger sensor, and greater dynamic range and things like this. But but like as an overall rounder, if you want to buy one camera now, buy Z8. The second place would be Z6 Mark III, in my opinion. There's a reason why Z6 Mark III exists and how popular it is. So here we go. Let's look at more questions. Pixel shift, if it processes the image in body, is worthwhile for some cases. Well, that's kind of thing what, I started to talk about D3000 and things like this, yeah? And I'm kind of thinking like, if you release point-and-shoot cameras, no point-and-shoot, entry-level cameras for consumers, we may need to have a lot of features that your phones have, like artificial blur, things like this, AI stuff. I think it's kind of needs to come to cameras. And again, us purists, we don't like this, but I think for the consumer, they know their phone can do this, so their camera should be able to do this and should make it very simple to do this. And that's the idea of having almost like plug and play, interface where you just grab the object and you know already how to use it. This is very important. I think this is something that photography engineers and technicians need to figure out when designing the product. And again, this is nothing to do with us. Let's say we like our Z8 and Z9s, and I want to have all manual controls I ever can get my hands onto. I want to control everything in my camera, but they're different markets of people. That's the thing. And I think for the consumer markets, you should be able to have those features. And when they switch on the camera, it should be able to do all this without them switching them on. And then it should allow you to switch them off if you want to. That's the thing. But this first experience of opening the camera, putting the lens on, taking the picture should be fairly straightforward because we know how to take pictures, you and me. But realistically speaking, people who are buying their first like dedicated camera, being a D3000 series, should be able to have this kind of first experience, plug and play experience, in my opinion. So I think that's where the main problem really, not the technology, and technology will become cheaper and cheaper eventually, Here we go. Craig says, doesn't Red have some high dynamic range sensors? They do. They're not producing high volumes, so that's the thing. But that's something that potentially may come from, collaboration of Red and Nikon. Here we go. John Hughes says, I think pixel shift is just a thing the Sony added, but does not work in practice. Well, how many of you use pixel shift, and what other reason would you use pixel shift? Let me know in the comments below. I want to read through that. So that's the thing. I've done 400 megapixel pixel shift scanning on GFX 100S. Does it make any difference in terms of details of the negative? Not really. I mean, 100 megapixels is good enough on that. So, but everyone is different. That's the thing. And obviously, you now have gigapixel AI and things like this, where you can enlarge your image, and the technology is good enough that you don't lose a lot of details. But again, let me know what you think of pixel shift. Vince says, if Z5 or Z is the smallest possible effects mount body for compact outfit and backup for travel, then it would work as entry level and additional body for others. That Z5 was a bargain, but the same size as Z6. Yes, that's the thing. I think we need a Z5, but Z5 is not an entry level. We call it entry level, but we have access to bigger toys like these guys. I think we should have a Z5 as an entry level to full frame, and we also have to have something that is entry level as Z3000 to a DX range. I think there should be two entry points there. So that's the thing. But thinking what Z5 Mark II can be, I don't know what can they improve on that. I mean, it's probably going to be a rebadged Z6 Mark II or something like this. I don't, because they have to keep it under a certain price as well. And Z6 Mark II is now cheap as well. There's a price realignment happened. So since Z6 Mark III came out, so it is a little bit cheaper as well. The J would love a camera with 18 stops of dynamic range. So that's the thing. The Alex has high dynamic range video camera and obviously red. So I think, again, some of you who don't want a video in their camera, this is a good example of what's going to come in still photography sensors. Without the video, you wouldn't get those things. That's kind of my opinion about this. So you get not just high resolution sensor, but also better low light performance and a greater dynamic range. So, and those things are on the horizon. The global shutter wouldn't come to still cameras if video cameras wouldn't have this. Another thing. So, something to think about when you talk that you don't want a video on your camera. So that's the thing. All right. Nikon FTN. Oh, it's a good camera. I can tell you that. Colin Murphy is asking, hi, Con, you have Z7 Mint Minus. Can I have it for a conversion? Yes, you can. Give a call to our chaps downstairs who will pick up your call, Colin. And we have 10% of this up to £150 at this moment. So definitely, speak to the guys downstairs. Kind of, I'm not in charge of all those things, but definitely, Colin, just speak to them. Yeah, they can sort this out for you. No problem at all. J Blue says, my first camera was Nikon FE. I have been a loyal Nikon customer ever since. Here we go. So, I see. Colin, when he said the Nikon FTN, that was his first Nikon camera. Okay. I'm with you. Both are fantastic cameras. You see, you had them much longer than me. That's the thing. For me, it was F100. $600 plus tax. That was a lot of money back in the day for me. So that was a big thing. Bought in New York. So paid total $599. Came in like, oh yeah, $600. And then they gave me a bill for like $700 or something. I said, oh yeah, the tax is included. You see, in UK, we have a tax thrown in the price. That's the thing. But yeah, amazing camera. Still have one, Would always recommend F100 to anyone else who wants autofocus Nikon. Nikon FE is beautiful. Nikon Mount FTN is a beautiful camera as well. I think they're beautiful objects, regardless of, let's say, if you don't need, they're just beautifully made. That's the thing. John Hughes' first camera was Exacta. I want to try that. Sounds like a fun camera. Rick is going to be in London on September 6 and 7, 2024. Can't wait to see Grays of Westminster. 6 and 7s, we should be open, I assume. Let's see, 6 and 7s. We're not open on the 7s because it's Saturday, but we open on the 6. So come and say hello. We will be happy to have you in the shop. All right, let's see. It's 5. It's okay. It's 3 o'clock now. We're not buffering. That's some good news. I hope the audio is still okay. Let's read your comments. Did I miss anyone? Let me see if I missed anyone. There's good discussion on what Nikon should release next. David Lewis says entry-level cameras need to make it easier to transition from the phone, built-in ability to share upload to Instagram, TikTok, etc. Built-in 5G. Yeah, I agree. So yeah, when I was talking about the interface and plug and play, this should be all parts of this. Yes. So it seems like they need to work more for the entry level because they need to automate and make things simple. Then they need to do on the more professional cameras because consumer cares about that automation. So pros can work with Snapper Bridge and swear at it, but consumer needs to have plug and play. You put your Instagram name and account, the password, whatever, login and password, and it should just connect it straight away. That's how it should work, you know. So that's the thing. Let's see. Like that's where they need to start to work, and that's the thing. I think a lot of Japanese, you know, manufacturers, they're really good at obviously tech, you know, at the hardware, you know, and designing it, obviously doing a lot of things under the hood. But it's the first user experience that's, you know, that's kind of an issue, you know. All of them have a connection issues to Bluetooth connection or Wi-Fi connection to the phone, you know, not just Nikons, you know. You look at Fuji and Sony, there's always an update for those cameras and stuff like that. So that's something that where they need to try to figure things out, you know, get maybe some folks from Silicon Valley, who knows, you know, to help them to work on that side of things, you know. So, but yeah, I think if we start to see the cameras like this, and we will start to see cameras like this, I just don't know how many years. That's the thing. Hello, Dr. Robert Goldman from Perth. Hope you're well. Keith says that his first was Nikon FT3, have stayed with the brand, currently have a Z6 and Z8. Here we go. So not just me who bought a Nikon and stuck with Nikon. All right, so a single track 66, one Z50 Mark II. Here we go. ZR full frame rangefinder. Again, would be cool. I think Z50 has more chance to be, you know, to materialize, you know. Full frame rangefinder would be cool. Don't think it's gonna happen personally, but you know, would be cool. How many use IMAX video resolution, Paul P? What's IMAX video resolution? Can you just you know, tell me about that, because I have no idea. Because I'm thinking about IMAX resolution, I'm thinking about proper IMAX, not digital IMAX. And I'm thinking Oppenheimer, you know. And when you watch Oppenheimer, I watched in IMAX in London. Yeah, it was they had a film projector there. So when they were shooting on double X medium format, here's our film photography talk. Those 5 minutes we're gonna throw in there. You can really see the image quality, and if the focus is not there, you can clearly see it. And when they switch to 35mm, you can clearly see the difference between medium format and 35mm. It's just the grain and things like this, you know. But I know that IMAX is doing a lot of digital stuff. Yeah, I think they're working on a digital video camera and things like this. But tell me, what is the resolution of IMAX? I want to know actually what they do. All right, so let's see. Let's check your comments. Tom Lawrence says, I started with D3100 and ended up with Z63, so the system works. Thank you, Tom. Your clear example, what I was saying exactly. So yeah, it's a Trojan horse. You know, you get this and then you like it, you like the brand, you like the functionality, you make your way up. That's the thing. So, you know, maybe if you wouldn't have this D3100 and you would have other brand, you end up with other brand. So that's the importance of having those entry-level cameras. You know, you got to get people into the system. Drew Clark says, I have had a Z9 for 5 months now and never used the video side of it and probably never will. I'm just not interested in using video part of the camera. That's fine. That's fine. But that technology that you have there wouldn't be there if they wouldn't be for video. That's what I'm saying. You know, the thing is, it all comes as a part of the package. And I think that's kind of my message is. I'm not saying that, you know, like what I don't say is I don't need video in my camera, but it's there. It's just there. The price is not changing if it wouldn't be there. That's kind of the point is, you know, a lot of video technology pushes all the benefits of a still camera. So that's where my point is, if you see what I mean. So, you know, I don't know if you won't have video in our cameras, how the technology would advance. We could be going at a slower rate in terms of improvement of, you know, stills photography, you know, just overall in terms of technology. So that's where my point is, you know, but it's all part of the package nowadays. That's the thing. You know, the frame rate and things like this all comes because the cameras need to shoot video at high frame rate, you know, and that's a lot of data to transfer into the memory card. So your buffer needs to be big, etc. That's what gives you a frame rate effectively, you know, so all sorts of things like this. And the higher resolution, you know, 8K increases the resolution of the sensor, etc. So Oracle Tesla says, looking to get D3200 18-55 kit lens used. What do you say about it for street photography? It's, you know, It depends. I mean, I like my film cameras and my manual focus cameras for street photography, so I don't see why not. It will do the job. Autofocus is not the fastest in the world, so if you pre-focus, you should be fine. But overall, the camera is small enough. It doesn't look like the latest tech, so it's actually I don't know. Maybe for people they will think it's even a film camera and things like this. Just because they don't look all the mirrorlessy nowadays. But it's you will have to make it work. You would have to test autofocus if you use autofocus, but if you focus manually, then you should be fine. Again, 18-55 is surprisingly a good lens for a kit lens. It's very, very sharp. That's what it is. Thank you, David says, have a cup of Yemen Mocha Bordeaux Haraz. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. Paul P tells us about IMAX. So IMAX was a film wider than 35mm roll, equivalent of medium format for cine. Yeah, so 70mm. That's what it is. Yeah, I just when you said the resolution, I thought you meant digital resolution. So yeah, it's 70mm. Yeah, I agree with you. So yeah, for the Oppenheimer Kodak design the double X stock for IMAX format effectively. So not design but created because it was available only in 35mm. So they effectively did the run specifically for this movie to do it in 70mm. If you want to try double X on film, the only company that does those is CineSteel double X in 120. I haven't seen any other manufacturers do that. So even like, let's say now it's easy to get 500T with ramjet removed by other manufacturers, not just CineSteel, but this particular one, double X in 70mm or 120 format, that would be available only from CineSteel at the moment. So I haven't tried it yet, but it's on my list to try. Michael Reed says Olympus OM1 is the first camera, so it's back in 1973. Now have D500 and D780. Took some great images with D780 and 24 1.8 lens of the recent northern lights. No desire to go full mirrorless now. I have the D780. Well, D780 is, first of all, still a fantastic camera. Second of all, it's a still current Nikon camera. Nikon hasn't discontinued D780 or D850, so they're still available. And if you haven't bought one and you want a brand new one, Nikon is running money off. It started today of D780 and D850 as well. So that's what it is. Let's see. I think we're done. I think that this is all. If you have any questions, let me know. But I think I've answered all the questions we had. And if I've missed any question, I'm just looking at them now, quickly scrolling through. But I think we're all good here. Well, then we're gonna wrap up. Thank you everyone for joining me today. If you haven't given this stream like, you know what to do. So, but I wish you a very good weekend. It's a bank holiday in UK. I hope you're gonna take your cameras out, take some pictures, and enjoy photography. Enjoy the last sunny days that we have in UK. If you are everywhere else, have a great weekend. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate you being here, and I'll see you next week. All the best. Bye-bye.